Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Mem Nurul Afifah MPD as a lecturer in the instructional design and all of my beloved friends. Okay guys, we are from group 7. My name is Putri Andini with NPM 2023017 and my partner name is Sulitawati with NPM 2023032. On this occasion, we will discuss about develop assessment tool, which contains the definition of assessment tool, characteristics, examples, and develop assessment tool. Okay, the first material will be delivered by myself. The definition of assessment. According to the standard from Registered Training Organization 2015, assessment means the process of collecting evidence and making judgment on whether competency has been achieved. To confirm that an individual can perform to the standard required in the workplace, as specified in a training package or a vocational education and training or VET accredited course. So, an assessment tool is a technique or method of evaluating information to determine how much a person knows and whether this knowledge aligns with the bigger picture of a theory or framework. Next is about characteristics of an assessment tool. The first is reliability. The right assessment tool produces the same result over time, so there's a consistency or accuracy in this result. Here, you should consider whether the test can replicate result whenever it is used. For example, if the student performs the same task simultaneously, then such assessment passes as reliable. The second, validity. The validity of an assessment boils down to how well it measures the different criteria being tested. In other words, it is the idea that the test measures what it intends to measure. This means your assessment method should be relevant to the specific content. For example, if you are testing physical strength, you shouldn't send out a written test. Instead, your test should include physical exercise like push-up and weightlifting. Third, equitable. A good assessment tool is equitable, which means it doesn't favor or disfavor any participant. Fair assessment implies that students are tested using methods and procedures most appropriate to them. Every participant must be familiar with the test context so they can put up an acceptable performance. And the last characteristic is standardization. Standardization means applying consistency to your testing methods. For example, if you are sending out a questionnaire, it should have the same set of questions for all participants, and all the answers should be graded using the same criteria. Okay, that's all from me, and the next material will be explained by Sulitawati. To Sulitawati, time is yours.
Okay, the next material is educational assessment tools. Educational assessment tools are used to evaluate students' performance and their level of knowledge in certain subjects. Educational assessment tools can be used during the learning process or on an ongoing basis. For example, in formative assessment, teachers use different methods to track student performance as learning processes. This allows instructors to identify to correct knowledge gap as they move from one learning phase to another. However, in summative assessment, the teacher waits until the end to measure students' performance using the expected learning outcomes rubric. Expectedly, different assessment tools work from different types of educational assessment. Thus, while quizzes and polls are switchable for formative evaluation, close-ended and off-term exams are more switchable from summative assessment. Example of education assessment tools. First, Health. This is a free online platform that teachers can use to give math tests to students. Both during the learning process and outside the classroom, Health allows instructors to provide immediate feedback when students submit their thesis. Second, Form+. Teacher can use Form+ to create survey, questionnaires, and polls for class assessment. Students can participate in this assessment even without an internet connection, and teachers can immediately analyze responses. Third, Google Classroom Question Tool. Google Classroom lets you create the share question with your students right in the app. The teacher can answer each student separately or hold discussion with different groups. 4. Quiz tool. If you are doing fact-based tests, then the quiz tool is good choice. In quizzes, you can set up self-assessed tests, which help you save time on grading. The next material is developing assessment tools. When developing assessment tools are three main steps. The first the first step is planning. In planning for assessment, you need to consider how a learner will demonstration the test, how what they need to do to complete the task and why, and demonstrate they have the ability to perform the task in different contexts and environments. Things to consider in this component are A. Elements, B. Performance criteria, C. Performance evidence, D. Knowledge evidence, and E. Assessment condition. Next, point step 2 is design and development. The assessment tools consist of a number of components that ensure the assessment is conducted in a manner that is flexible, valid, and reliable. These components include A. Context and assessment condition, B. Assignment to be given to student, C. Culture, outline of evidence to be collected from candidates, D. Criteria of evidence used to assess the quality of performance, and the last E. Administration recording and reporting requirements. 3. Step 3. You should undertake several checks before implementing a new assessment tools. A. Further consultation with industry will confirm if the content of the tools correct and relevant. B. Reviewing the tools with other trainers and assessors who may not be industry expert but who have current skill and knowledge in vocational training, learning and assessment including competency-based training and assessment. And the last, C. Trialing the tools before is it used by learners test the effectiveness of the tools without effective a learner. Okay, that's all material from me. Back to moderator. Thank you.